AI altcoins are on the move this week, and these two are absolutely leading the charge as far as price action and headlines. We're going to go over in this video why Bittensor and Venice are having great weeks on the charts and why, honestly, I think this is only going to continue. I think given the market caps, I think given where the market is, if Bitcoin continues to show more momentum, I think there's so much more upside for both of these coins. So we're going to go over that and more in this video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, guys, be sure to drop down below, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel down below. It helps us out get in front of more crypto bulls just like yourself. We go live with videos Monday through Friday every single week. So hit that like button and subscribe to the channel down below. And of course, a big shout out to our sponsors down below in the description. You can check that out down below. It is Friday. I'm not going to really waste any time jumping right into it. We're seeing basically green across the board. It's been a great week in the market. We obviously have Bitcoin up a couple percent and up 12% on the 30 days, which is fantastic. We have Zcash still pumping. We have TON up 100% over the course of this month. We see stuff like Athena, Near Protocols up 20% on the weekly. That falls into the AI category as well. But in this video, I want to mainly touch on Bittensor and Venice because I think, of course, Near is having a good week, but we do see Bittensor's up 16%. And we also see that Venice is up 50% on the weekly time frame. So crazy price moves on Venice. And as far as a headline perspective, Bittensor is just getting so much more talk on socials and everything like that. It's much more in the narrative, even though Near Protocol did pump more this week. But I just want to go over the updates on these two coins and why I really do think that both of these still have more upside to come. So let's go ahead and jump right into that. Obviously, last video we did cover or our last TAO video, we covered the listing on Solana. And a lot of people, like I said, were kind of like, oh, well, this doesn't really matter. I think it's actually huge. Bittensor's blockchain is really segmented. So unless you buy on centralized exchanges or you take the time to bridge over to the network or the subnets, etc., it's really hard to get liquidity over to Bitcoin for just the average retail user. But a lot of retail liquidity participates on Solana. So I think this is actually massive. And I think it unlocks so much more volume. And TAO.com has come through and actually said that this will actually be the first step in bringing subnets to Solana, to where Solana liquidity can invest into Bittensor subnets, which I do think is absolutely massive. And currently, obviously, the price is sitting at 316 on Bittensor. I do want to say this. I think that Bittensor TAO, if it didn't go through the FUD when the subnet founder abandoned the ecosystem last month, I think Bittensor would be at $600. Given the way that Near Protocol has run this month, given the way that Venice is running, given the way that Bitcoin is running, how hot in the narrative TAO was about 30 days ago, I genuinely think that Bittensor TAO would probably be at $600, which is almost double this current price because it took a huge dip whenever the subnet founder decided to go ahead and leave the ecosystem. So I do want to take that with a grain of salt. Even though it's up 15% this week, I think it's going to reprice closer to that 450 level maybe in the short term. And then long term, I definitely expect new all-time highs. Yesterday at Consensus Miami, we see Raul Paul saying, he gets asked the question, what are your 4 most bullish altcoins? And one of them ends up being Bittensor's TAO token. Now, of course, a lot of activity happening currently on the TAO subnets. If we look at the monthly flow as well, despite all of the stuff you see on social media about the drama last month, all the TAO flows are essentially positive. There's a couple that are negative here in the top 25, but the amount of TAO flowing into the subnets is greatly outlasting the amount that is leaving the subnets. And if I look at the monthly charts here, some of these coins, or some of these alpha tokens for the proper terminology, are up hundreds of percent over the course of time. You can find value in the Bittensor ecosystem at any given time, and it really is endless. If you look through some of these subnets that are actually, shipping product and building things, we see Mark Jeffrey here showing off Synth's new product. So Synth is subnet 50, and they actually have basically prediction market financial data, if you want to kind of call it that. I think it's a really interesting platform if you want to plug it into your prediction market trades. Obviously, I'm big into prediction markets. I think it's very handy. And I do think it's a pretty cool addition to the stack of prediction market data that you use to get an edge. So you can take a look at Synth, which is Subnet 50. Moving on, we have Lead Poet. We talked about this. They got accepted into the launch pad for Salesforce. Salesforce is obviously used by like all the biggest companies in the world. All the companies I used to work for utilize Salesforce. So that's massive as well. We obviously have Targan with Intel, and we also see RESI continuing. They're in the news a lot right now. RESI might be one of the most popular subnets in all of the ecosystem. Billions in US home loan volume is now underwritten through RESI. They just partnered up with Real Fly Homes. So RESI is infrastructure that actually does instantaneous appraisals. And the model is so much more accurate than stuff like Zillow. So instantaneous appraisals, extremely accurate appraisal models, and they're backed by some of the best funds in the game as far as like Stillmark Capital, etc. And you can actually see that their appraisal portal's live. People are using this. Like, these aren't just theories anymore. And I think that's really important to point out. Like, we're seeing this used in real time. This guy just ran a property appraisal, not a zestimate that you see on Zillow, a full-blown appraisal in 30 seconds. This is just a really cool feature to see. And this is actually getting shipped at this point in time. People are using this in real time. It's just crazy to see some of these subnets like RESI doing this, accurate appraisals on chain, accurate appraisals, instantaneous, utilizing AI, and most importantly, built on Bittensor. You can also see here, I wanted to point out, if you want to also roll through, because I see a common theme on Twitter and YouTube comments. Well, what do these subnets do? Well, look, you can actually go over to Yuma Group on Town Square, is what it's called, townsquare.com, and you can actually see how to utilize these things. You can see the different API costs for the different subnets, if they're decentralized trading, underneath finance, underneath model and agent development, compute and infrastructure. This is a really cool tool because it shows you exactly what these subnets are building, how to utilize them, the API access, the cost to utilize the data. So this is not vaporware happening on these subnets. This is not a bunch of just piled up crap that a lot of people probably see. This is not Ethereum. This is not completely open source. Like, you have to pay to get in, to get a subnet. Then you have to build your product. And you really only succeed in the Bittensor ecosystem if your product gets traction. So this is why I've termed it the Y Combinator of AI. And so for people that need it, I've seen some people ask in the comments as well, you just need to buy TAO on an exchange, open up a Talisman wallet. I think that's the best one personally. Move TAO off of your centralized exchange on the Bittensor chain to your wallet. You can pick some subnets, stake into subnets, and then you earn emissions every single day. So you could see why Bittensor has gotten so much buzz in Q2. Ever since the beginning of really like April or so, Bittensor has really been the talk of the town as far as AI. And we're just going over the reasons exactly why this is happening. And I think that this is going to eclipse all-time highs potentially this year. And I think long-term, you can probably see this reprice easily towards $1,000 per token. But also, let's go over to Venice, because Venice has actually been the fastest growing token in the AI sector. And this is not theory, like, oh, the fastest growing token. No, this is legitimately absolutely lapping everything in the AI sector right now. From the bottom at $1, this has done a 13x since December, and the chart just doesn't stop. It's up another 100% this month. I started really covering this coin about $8, $8.50, about 3-4 weeks ago. And look, I guess, yeah, $8.50, like 3 weeks ago, right around this area. And this thing's done a 50% gain even since then. And a lot of people were telling me, oh, you're late to this coin. But from a market cap perspective, It is not. It is still smaller than Render. It's smaller than Near Protocol, etc. It has so much catch up to do on some of these other coins, in my opinion. And Render is great. It's up 17% this week. It's $1 billion market cap circulating, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Venice hit that same mark. VVV is such an obvious play. Regardless of market conditions, this is running to at least, this guy says 100. I mean, short term for me, $20 is a good target. And I think like if you feel like you don't want to buy spot in this position, even a low leverage long on this, I think is a good play. Absolute monster of a product. And yes, when TAO first had his extreme run a little while back, not this recent one, it ran during a bear market. And VVV is doing the exact same thing. Look at the burn rate on this coin. And with their new mechanism with Diem, which honestly deserves a full video, I'm not going to even be able to break that down in one video for you guys. Look at the burns, the organic burns on the token. As far as this is from activity of usage, $518,000. This was literally so far. And then we see here buy and burn pace, $1.7 million per year. It's pretty crazy just seeing this tokenomics flywheel in action. On top of that, Venice has all the best stacks from Opus to GPT to Gemini. Now they did Grok Imagine high quality video and images. This has been one of the most popular things on Twitter recently, and Venice has this full stacked into their own platform. This is the best flywheel because every single credit consumed on the Venice platform equals tokens going to burn. So it's been crazy to see just how fast this is growing, and their trajectory from API tokens shows that it's probably only going to continue. VVV is also technically a privacy coin, private interference. Whether it is super great at privacy or not, it's the same story because Venice is private AI. Everything you're doing on the Venice platform is secured and private, whereas a lot of these companies are probably distributing that data somewhere or storing your data or using it for their own good, whereas Venice is a fully decentralized private AI platform. Privacy is a clear narrative, and I think if you want a play that overlaps, so you don't have to hold so many coins, you could go Venice and you could go TAO. That's privacy and AI. Maybe add Zcash to that. That's a power trio of tokens this bull run. I really think that is a crazy combination of upside whenever it comes to you're doubling up privacy with Zcash, you're doubling up AI with Venice and TAO, and then obviously Venice is overlapping on the privacy side. I mean, I think that's a win-win overall. Looking at this coin, just genuinely speaking, the FTV just hit $1 billion. You could probably see a sell wall here, but otherwise, I don't see why it doesn't reprice to the same, around exactly the same market cap as Render. If Venice does another 50% gain, the market cap will be about 950 million. FTV will increase to the point where it flips Render at 1.5 billion. But with the circulating market cap still under $1 billion at that level, the 50% gain from here would put it at that $20 mark. So I think this hits $20 in the short term, but that is just my educated opinion. Of course, a lot of people said I was late at 850, and this thing's up another 50% since then. So I think you just have to look at the data. We've shown the data quite a bit on Venice, just the adoption that it's getting, the usage of the actual product, and then the flywheel they just introduced with the buy and burns and the burning mechanisms, taking supply off with the Diem token as well, which, like I said, I'm going to literally have to do a video next week for you guys to break that down. But it's been a great week for AI crypto investors. Whether you're in Venice, Near Protocol, Bittensor, TAO, Render, they're all up pretty good numbers over the course of this week. So closing out this week on AI coins in the green is something that we'd love to see. Guys, I'll be back on Monday with videos throughout the week. As always, if you don't mind helping out the channel, like the video down below, subscribe to the channel as well. You'll get these videos as soon as we post them so you don't miss any of the updates and the alpha. And we will see you on Monday. As always, you guys have a great weekend. Stay bullish, my friends, and of course, trade responsibly, my friends.